Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we're headed out on the water. It is a hot, balmy summer day. The fishing should be good. Let's go catch them. I'm really excited to get out here fishing with you guys. I like our conditions today. We had a storm blow through this morning, so it's extra humid. It is cooking right now, but that's just the way it goes. We may have some more weather blow through. You can see this one building back here behind me. Hopefully we don't have to run from it, but I like our conditions overall. We're going to start out fishing some steeper bluff walls. I'm gonna start out with a topwater. We'll adapt as necessary. I've got everything from shallow grass baits, you know, frog, senko, and urchin, to like deep offshore baits, big flutter spoons and strolling baits. We will do whatever it takes to catch them today. Hopefully, again, it's not a race against the weather. I think we've got plenty of time to lean on some fish. Let's get to it. Gotcha. All right, we got one to get us started. It's that Megabass Giant Dog X. It's a walking topwater bait. So what I'm doing, guys, it's so hot today that shade matters. So I'm taking this walking bait and I'm coming down these shade lines, and in a couple of hours, these shade lines will be very, very small. But right now we've got quite a bit of space to fish. I get on the bluff walls, the steep walls, and these trees give me a little bit of a shade line here. These fish can sit in that. One, they can stay out of that direct sun. Two, they can stay in the dark and they can look out to the light and they can hunt that way. So I really like late morning getting on these steep, rocky bluff walls and walking that topwater bait. It's a really effective way to catch them. We won't do this for more than an hour or two because this edge will be shrinking, and then once that sun gets over, it'll be all sun. So we have a window of opportunity. That's why I'm starting out with it, and then we'll adapt and go do other things. Got him. Little smaller fish, but we will take anything that wants to bite on a hot day, let alone anything that wants to bite at topwater. Good grief. They can't all be good casts. I stopped. I'm running between bluffs right now. I wanted to go fish another bluff. I ran out of shadow on that one. So I was making a move, but I got to the opening of this cove and I just wanted to fish the corner on the way in. That's a 5-inch stroll shad. Just fired that off the point here on the corner. Started working it across the point and took 2 casts. Oh, missed him on the flutter. There's one. Nichols flutter spoon. I love this time of year. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is brutal hot right now. Brutal. I'm baking. But you can get bit. And this is a tough time of year for a lot of people because the water's super hot, right? The water today is in the 90s. These fish can get lethargic, but if you move around and you look for groups of fish, so I'm running likely places. It's not like I'm just on the bank, cruising along, running into whatever I run into. I'm running intentional shadow lines on bluffs. Points entering a pocket where fish would naturally collect in a group, right? Schooling fish, groups of bass together, they have a different mindset than single fish. They get competitive, they fire each other up. So I'm intentionally searching for those places where I might run into a bunch of bass and we can really get them worked up, get them going and catch them on fun ways like strolling and flutter spoons and topwater. It's awesome. Little guy. Oh, little spotted bass. Hey, buddy. Uh-uh. Come on. You missed. Do it again. You missed, buddy. He was a smaller one, that's why. Nice spotty though. Little spotted bass. Tactical shad Senko is what he ate. I just had that laying on the deck as a follow-up bait. If I missed one, I've had 3 or 4 slap the topwater and just not get it. And they're only hitting once. And if they miss, they just don't seem to come back. So I laid that Senko up here thinking, next time one does that, I'll pitch a Senko and instant bite. Oh man, second it hit the water. Come on, Senko. There he is. That one went flying, but that was on Tactical Twilight. Another spotty. It's fun. I love when we put a pattern together. These are not the biggest fish by any means. Hopefully we run into a big one today. You never know. Every day is different. But we've got a pattern. We're on the shade. We're getting bit on topwater. When they miss, a follow-up bait gets them. That one ate that topwater before I even moved it. I landed in the water, it came to the surface, and he blew up on it. You bugger. Got him. Gosh, that's fun. That is a nice spot. Nice river spotty right there. Awesome. Again, I'm slinging that juvie gill, and the reason is very simple. I find a lot of times this time of year when I get on these shade lines, when you get up around the brush and stuff that overhangs, there's a lot of little bluegill on this stuff. So there's a lot of colors you can throw, but I think a little bluegill bait makes a lot of sense in this environment. Hello. All right, we have definitely established a first pattern, right? Catching them on that top water with a follow-up bait, fishing those shade lines. Now I just came out offshore. I pulled up on a ledge, turned on my live so that I could start looking to see if there were even fish around. I was actually looking this way. Fish bit me that way, but obviously they're here. That was the first cast. It was on that 5-inch stroll shad. Now we did get one on a stroll shad earlier. That was just totally random. That was pull up on a point, fire it out there, doink, get bit. Let's see. I was planning on doing this at some point today. There they are. I've got 3 different stroll baits tied on. I've got the stroll shad, a freeloader, and then a big freeloader, just to see what the fish want, trying to match the size of what they're chasing. But the plan now, it's still shade related. When I get out on these ledges, these fish, they're sitting just deep enough to stay out of the direct sun. They're avoiding the light penetration through the water, so it's not an obvious shade location, but they're sitting low enough that they are in fact in the shade out here. There's almost no flow of any kind today, so that's never good for a ledge bite, but whatever, we'll still catch some fish. And then if this works, maybe we go find a third pattern too. I never even got to move it. That was on the way down. Feels solid too. All right, I'm gonna shut down the live. I don't want these fish to know that we're here. I want the boat quiet. Come here. Nice. So I just turned off the live. I just paused the pinging. I'm about to put the rest of the units on standby. If I'm being sneaky, if there's not other boats around, I like to make my boat totally silent so the fish are not hearing the pinging in the water. I already know there's fish here now, right? I don't need to like screen stare to catch them by any means. I just wanted to know if they were around. So now we shut it all down, we get quiet. That ups our odds of getting a big one. All right, taking a little midday water break. Gonna make another move. Here's the update for you so far. We're catching a bunch of fish. We have not caught a big one, but we're catching some nice ones. We're catching them a lot of different ways. I'm gonna go ahead and try and find a third pattern. I like to have options all day long. So if something shuts down, I feel like I can bounce around and build on it. That's why I'm always looking for new things. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna get off the ledges. I think this bite will actually improve as the day goes on. I've got a nasty storm building over here. I hope that doesn't impact us, but I'm gonna assume we can keep fishing later in the day. So I'm gonna go do other things first. Maybe we could go up shallower, you know, up in like that 10, 15 foot range, out on the edge of grass. Maybe we get on an urchin bite, something like that. And then later on, maybe we'll get back out offshore, get back on that ledge bite, see if we can catch a few more. Gotcha. All right, I got off the main river, moved into a pocket, and then I got out onto a secondary point. So there's a bunch of grass, and then it sort of forms a point, and then it starts to fall off. And I'm fishing right where the grass ends and that hard bottom, deeper water transition begins. It's like a little fish highway right on that edge. That one was on our tactical mini underspin with a swammer on it. Hopefully we can catch them a few different ways here. This is a place I've fished before, right? We're on my home lake. That's how I know that contour where the grass ends. When you can find that outside grass, especially if you can find a point or a pocket in that outside grass, you can do really, really well. That dude swallowed that Meba. Look at this. He's mad. That's the Berkeley Meba, and it was all of the way down the hatch. Golly, he killed it. I'm fishing this thing. I've got a treble hook on it and then a Jika rigged weight on there. This is a very specific BKK hook that I like for doing this with. Taking that thing, throwing it out. You know, you can fish these baits aggressive. You can fish them really subtle and calm. Right now I'm just sort of popping it off the bottom, just jumping it up and letting it settle back down. That's all I'm doing, working my way down off that point. Uh-oh. We got thunder clapping in the distance. We might have stuck around too long. Well, we dodged that thunderhead, but we ended up in the rain. Raining and sunny, go figure. I'm gonna start fishing offshore again. I think that's probably our best shot at getting a good one. We'll see what happens. There's one. Nice one on the freeloader. There's one. Feels like a nice fish. Yep, that's a good one. I'm gonna be honest, I was about half asleep when that one bit. Crush City freeloader. It's hot. Luckily we've got this overcast that keeps rolling through, but I mean it is cooking. So I'm just sitting here baking. I hadn't been bit in probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes. About half asleep and then thunk, that guy got bit. There's one. Lay down. Nice. There we go. That feels like a good one. That was the very next cast. We might have a school fired up now. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. Let's just keep on chucking. We've got a group of them going now. There we go. Thank you. I've got solid head shakes. Now we're talking. Fish feels solid. Yep, that's a good one. Another nice one. Definitely better quality fish offshore today. But man, it was fun throwing a topwater too. All right, guys, it's time to wrap this one up. I am cooking. We've caught a bunch of fish. It's been a lot of fun, but it's time for me to get off the water. If you're not familiar with that strolling technique, and most people are by now, but essentially think of this as a swim bait, but instead of having a paddle tail, it rocks from side to side as you shake the rod. So that's why you see me shaking with one hand, reeling with the other. We've got whole dedicated videos to that. But today, if I had to nail down today, if I had to put a word on it, it would be junk, right? Straight up summer junk fishing. As I look across the deck, we caught them on a spoon, a topwater, a Senko, several different minnows, an underspin, the Meba, an urchin. I mean, about the only thing on my deck we didn't catch them on was a crankbait and a glide bait, and we just never got around to throwing either one. I think we could have caught them on those too. I love this time of year. Don't get me wrong, it's hot. It's pretty miserable. I've drank a lot of water today. I'm pretty wiped out, but the fishing can be next level. If you're willing to build patterns and you're willing to look for schools of fish, groups of fish. I'm not fishing random places this time of year. I'm fishing places where fish collect, right? Our first pattern was fishing shade lines. Those fish are getting compressed in that shade line. As the sun is getting higher, the shade is getting smaller and the fish are stacking in. That's how we started. Next, we went offshore, ledge fishing. That's where there's current moving on these breaks and these fish stage up in position, and they tend to do it in large groups. So if you can get them fired up like we did right here at the end, you can catch them one after another after another. It is just as fun as can be. And then our third pattern was working those outside offshore grass edges, which can be lights out. Today it wasn't lights out, but we did catch a couple fish doing that. Got the underspin fish, got the urchin fish doing that. 3 distinct ways of catching them at a time of year and a time of day when most people struggle. You don't have to struggle. Now in the video description, I'll link all the baits, all the gear. You know, most of my strolling today was on that new Shimano Poison Glorious high-end combo. But when you're strolling all day, you're holding that rod tip high. This is one of those techniques for a higher end rod. And it's not that you spent more, it's that by spending more, you got a lighter weight rod. That lightweight rod is just easier to shake all day long. So I've been very happy with that. We probably don't have room to link all these combos. I mean, I get everything under the sun. It goes like, I've been looking at my deck a minute ago. It goes Megabass, St. Croix, Dobbins, Megabass, G. Loomis, Daiwa, Shimano, Megabass, Dobbins, Fenwick, Shimano. I mean, we couldn't possibly link them all, but the core techniques that we fished today, I'll link those combos in the video description for you as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed coming along. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.